Good morning, this is Jason Streeter, and this is my yard. I'm going to do the grand tour. You can see we've got some old sidewalks. This is a rental property, and the sidewalks were completely covered with grass when we first moved in, and they're pretty broken up, but I decided to make flower beds out of the openings in the sidewalk. This is a new bed. It's ice plant. This is an old stump the landlord had been trying to get rid of, but it does a pretty good job of feeding the flowers. And this is Stella de Oro and purple hearts. And then this is a nice privet bush and a nandina bush and Texas sage bush. In the smaller cracks I've got sedum. They're the gray type. I've seen it called oracle or blue spruce. And then got some giant sedums that are autumn joy, and that's a little butterfly weed there volunteering. And now we're drawing a blank on that one. I'll come back. Rosemary and our pots. I got these guys for a penny a piece at Home Depot. Really nice pots, and we just planted them with some periwinkles. And we've got a lot of cannas in the yard. We really love our cannas. These are really dark leaves, make orange flowers. This is a new one we just got. It's supposed to make a yellow flower with orange centers. And a couple Mother's Day gifts from the kids. And the wife's new hanging pot with sweet potato vine. These are the cannas that were here when we moved in, and they make a small cluster of red flowers. You can see it starting to make. Excuse me. And the plants have gotten huge. Last year the flowers reached the eaves of the house, so this is a really big canna. And then this is our ornamental flower bed. We've got some crimson pirate daylilies here. It's a really pretty one. Listy Millers. All these zinnias are volunteer. Some Gerber daisies. Dianthus. That's a new addition. Hardy hibiscus. Back in that little corner there, I've got a couple elephant ears. I don't think they get quite enough light back there. And wife's Asiatic lily. We've had a whole bunch of bluebonnets in here. This is them making seeds for next year or the year after. A lot of alyssum. I threw some seeds in here, kind of salt and peppered the yard with alyssum, or the beds. California poppies. And another dianthus right here. And I really tried to get purple cone flowers in the garden for a couple years and didn't have a whole lot of luck. So I finally just went out and bought like 2,500 seeds and seeded this bed with about 2,500 seeds. And then I started getting some nice ones. You can see I've got a lot of little baby ones popping up too. And they can just have this bed. I love purple cone flowers. I've got a Rose of Sharon, one that I got from a little baby under a bush somewhere. And moonflowers are blooming. Close up. I've heard of lots of new names from the Plant Exchange. Learned a lot about these guys. I didn't know much about it when I got it. Apparently they're illegal in Oklahoma, which is about 15 minutes away. These are some nice pots that my wife filled up, Erica. And I remembered what these little plants are. They're asters. We've got 3 of them in the sidewalk beds, and they're nice purple ones that bloom in the fall. I've also got our my wife's rubber tree plant and apricot drift rose. And here's my son Seth, who's eagerly trying to get my attention. Hello, good morning. And I've got a lot of cosmos and things popping up in my wall. This area over here is all wildflowers. And big viburnum bush, it's really pretty. Moving into the backyard, this whole area we just started this year, so all this stuff is brand new. Everything right here was all donations. The Purple Hearts were transplanted from the front yard. They're still doing really well. Some irises that I got from my pastor's wife also. Not sure what exactly type they are. They do make a rhizome, but I'm not sure what kind of irises they are. They're supposed to make a yellow and white or yellow and orange flower that are really exotic looking. Planted some daylilies around the air conditioner, and then back here Vinca minor, and they're just going to fill up the rest of this side of the house. And then on the other side, well, we've got a couple pots around the fireplace with some forget-me-nots. No, not forget-me-not, impatiens. And then I'm trying again with the Nico Blue hydrangea. Last year it failed. This year I went ahead and got it from a more reputable source, and we're babying it a little bit more, so hopefully it'll have a better chance. And some annuals in this bed, but I've also planted some hostas. Unfortunately, the hostas, most of them have been eaten by our roly-polies. Planted lots and lots of hostas in here, and they've just gobbled them up. So I'm hoping that they'll come back. But some of them were donated by wonderful members of the plant exchange, including little bleeding heart there that's really happy. Luckily there's another little bleeding heart that's really happy. Both of those were donations. Thank you very much. I tried some bare roots and they didn't quite make it. These are redbud trees that I picked the seeds and scored them and started them in little pots and planted them where I wanted them. They've been doing really well. This is the mama plant I got them from. Here's one of the little hostas that's hanging in there. I love my roly-polies. I know they really help with the soil and everything, so I'm not wanting to do anything about it. I just wish they'd leave some of my plants alone. This is a little ghost fern that we got. It's hanging in there, but it's needing to establish itself a little better, I guess. Oh, and just on the other side of this rock wall, the neighbor's yard has huge area of Turk's caps, and they are gorgeous. I've got a couple that have creeped into my yard, and I'm perfectly happy with that. They're really attracting the hummingbirds. Alright, let's continue on. This is an anniversary gift for my wife. Thank you, Erica. I love it. I can't stay awake when I'm laying in it. Yay! Another little bed area that I've been trying to get some stuff going in. Still have a little impatient in there, but the hostas got eaten. This is some more. This is bearded irises from pastor's wife, and a volunteer pumpkin, we think. This used to be, I built this fence this year, and this used to be a little corner of my compost bed, so they're enjoying the benefits of that. This is one of the red cannas from the front yard I transplanted back here, and it doesn't get near as much light. This is the north side of the house, so, but it's hanging in there, and I don't mind it staying smaller if it wants to be back here. And then this little bed, I planted a couple little things, daylily and a vine there. I'll remember the name of that here in a second. And then back here is our vegetable garden. I'm working with straw, and I'm just going to keep it with straw. And if I want to plant something, I'll make a little spot. When it pops up, I'll cover it back with straw. This is going to be all straw. I planted sunflowers next to my cucumbers in hopes that they'd be strong enough to support the cucumbers. If not, I'll have to put some cages on them. Looks like didn't have a whole lot of luck with radishes. I had one that was worthy of eating, but the rest of them haven't been very good. That's okay, I'll just feed them to the rabbit. Everybody say hi to Dusty. Good morning, Dusty. You're gonna have to feed the rabbit, Seth. Yep. And then tomato plants. When I saw there's some that are about ready. We haven't got any of those this year yet. This is Seth's bean project from school. This is the first year we've actually been able to keep it alive and get it going. So maybe we'll get him some pinto beans to eat. And I won't go through everything in the garden, but there's our garlic. We're also trying eggplants for the first time, and this is such a pretty plant, I'd be half tempted to plant it in the front yard if it does well. This is the Japanese version. And toilet bowl flowers. We're going to have to try a different kind. It holds water too well, and these guys got moldy, so we're going to have to find something that likes water more. Anyway, we like hanging out back here. Compost. Okay, moving on. Some red tip petunias. The landlord planted a bunch of these for security. This bed is going to be, as of in the next couple days, our okras. Around the back of the property there's a big ditch that goes down. There used to be a train tracks. On the other side of that fence back there I planted a bunch of blackberries that were donated by my landlady. This is Mexican sage that's just started to come back. I was worried about it, but every time I'd tug on it, it would hold on tight, so I assumed it was doing good. But this is the last thing I've had to pop up. None of my butterfly weeds did come back. I think we had a really cold winter. We lost one of our lantanas from this bed. This is my cactus bed. If anyone wants any cactus, let me know. It's easy to... This is a really cool one. You can see that it makes really long cactus pads.
There's some onion in here?
Yeah, we've got some wild onion. And there's our one of the lantanas that came back. You can see I stuck some sedum in here too. We've got red yucca, and some of the sedums are blooming over here, and some of the cactuses too. It doesn't look like we have any open flowers at the moment. Another lantana. Also, we've got cholla. We did have one of them bloom. This one right here is about to bloom. They have really pretty color flowers.
There's a cactus that looks like a heart.
Yeah. And then some smooth cactus. If anyone wants any of that, let me know.
It doesn't have any ferns on it yet.
And that's it. That's the yard. Thank you guys for watching.
Oh, and some tiny cactuses.
Some tiny cactuses because they don't get enough light. Yep, they don't get enough light over here.